Welcome, guys. Come on in. Come on in. Welcome, you guys. Come on in. Give you a few minutes to get in. Um, just getting my tags done now. Give you guys a few minutes. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Just a few more minutes. Welcome back to the show, man. Welcome. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started with the show, man. Welcome back to another broadcast of the Spree Speaks. This is a show, man, where we talk about any and everything, where we leave nothing uh, undiscovered, man. We get into it all here. Tonight, we're gonna talk about something that's a lot more real, a lot more pure, um, something that's gonna definitely hit home to a lot of people, man. If you're watching the show tonight, um, let me just say, apologize first for last night. I was uh, in the middle of a whole lot last night. I didn't get a chance to get on, but we'll make up for it tonight. I promise you. Tonight, the show is gonna be fire tonight, man. Um, I had a conversation with my youngest daughter, man, today, and real conversation. One of her really close friends. Sorry about that, guys. Is dealing with some mental health issues, and so the police were called out, and they had to come and get this teenage kid and take him to a mental health facility, um, just to ensure that he didn't harm himself, he didn't take his life. And so, having that conversation, my daughter was really shaken up by it, was really hurt by it, and we got to talking, and she said, "Dad, I think you should talk about mental health on your show." And so that's how we got to where we are now. The reality, man, is a lot of us, and I stress the word us, because a lot of us don't really take the mental health aspect as serious as we should. And so tonight, man, hopefully, I'm hoping that I have some viewers who are interactive tonight. I have some viewers who don't mind voicing their opinions, some viewers who've probably been in this situation or know somebody who has been in that situation, or there may be somebody going through it now, um, that may be watching the show or going to see the show, and this show may help them through some mental crisis that they may be going through. And let's be honest, man, mental health is not anything that we should take lightly. It's not anything that we should play with. Um, I really believe a lot of times we just ignore the signs of a person that's really going through something. And so, it was funny. I was telling my daughter earlier today, people can be dealing with things and you never even know it. People could be going through some really serious battles within themselves and nobody really even knows that they're going through these battles, right? Because some people are able to camouflage extremely well. And the thing that really stands out more to me is, um, we confuse mental health with being retarded or slow, or people get embarrassed if somebody says, "Hey man, I really have some mental issues going on. I need to talk to somebody. I need to um, get some help." And we look down on that, not realizing, man, rich people have mental health issues. People with money go through mental health issues. People who are you that you may believe may be some of the most successful in the world have mental health issues. And so it's a topic, man, that I really believe that we should really, really start paying more attention to people as a whole, right? And so, um, for me, man, I can say, I mean, I've been through a lot of shit, but I can really say I've never been to a point to where I've wanted to take my own life. I've never been um, to the brink to where I wanted to harm myself. Now, yeah, sure, I've had moments where I've wanted to give up on certain things and throw in the towel in certain instances, but never that far. But we have people, some of us may know people who have contemplated suicide or contemplating giving up or contemplating, leaving this life behind, and not thinking that there's another alternative to that. And so, tonight, man, I just want to really get into some of the signs, some of the things that will cause a person to go over the edge. You know what I mean? And so, hopefully, like I said, I have some people who are not shy and timid, um, to interject and get into this discussion. Let's see, I smile a lot when most days I just feel like crying. Listen, I can 100% relate. I think, um, depending on who you are around at that particular time, that kind of dictates how we react to certain things, right? Like, we don't want certain people to see us cry, or we don't want certain people to really feel like we have some type of weakness or we're not as strong as one might believe. But the reality is, we're not. We're not built to fight off certain things by ourselves. We're not built to have to go through battles, specific battles alone. Some of us, we've gotten to the point to, some of us, like I talked to David Fraser on my show about independence. Some of us have gotten into being independent confused and thinking that you don't have to have somebody to help you shoulder the load. And you do. We all have to have somebody to help us shoulder the load. You know what I mean? And so we dealing with mental health, man. It's hard to um, be a person who has so much weight, so much weight on on their shoulders and don't know how to handle that. I saw many times, I've seen on the news, um, parents taking their lives and taking their kids' lives, husbands killing their wives and then killing the whole family, You know, I can go on and on, but these are things that are 100% attributed to a person who's dealing with some mental health issues. You don't just wake up in the morning out of nowhere and say, you know what, I think I'm gonna kill myself and I'm gonna kill my whole family. No, those are some issues. You've been dealing with some stuff, you know what I'm saying, for a period of time for you just to all of a sudden you just snap. You know what I'm saying? And so we got to get out of this mind frame where, man, he not crazy. We just need to pray for him. Yeah, but we need to make sure they get the proper help. We need to call somebody and have them talk to somebody and find out what's really going on here. Because when you shoot up a school, something's going on up here. Something's going on up here. When you bomb something, a hospital, or you do something that's extremely vindictive, there's something going on up here. That's not normal behavior. It's not normal behavior. You know what I mean? When you walk around, I see people um, a lot of times talking to themselves. I see a lot of people just randomly just talking to themselves, just talking. And at first, I'm like, yo, this dude is tripping. Like, man, who does that? Who talks to themselves like in broad daylight, right? But these are signs. These are things that happen that'll cause you to not notice what people are really going through. You know what I mean? My pastor says, pray and take your meds. Absolutely. And now let me tell you something, Krishanda. Believe it or not, I didn't even know that you had medication that you could take that would keep you from thinking about taking your own life. I didn't know that. I just when I thought, well, in the past time, when I thought about people with mental health issues or people who are crazy, I always thought about Thurazine. Just give them a shot. Give them a Thurazine shot. Put them in a straight jacket. You know, tomorrow they'll be fine. But that's really not the case. It's not the case. You know what I mean? Different people deal with different things, different demons, different issues. And so what may be an issue for you may not be the issue for somebody else. That other person may need something stronger. That other person may need more than 2 weeks of counseling or more than one session of a conversation because you don't know what they're dealing with. The problems could be anything. A lot of people don't know that because we refuse to talk to people. Absolutely. Absolutely. Not only do we refuse to talk to people, but we refuse to make those people's problems ours. We refuse to say, hey man, you deal with that. I don't want none of that. You know, not that we refuse to say it, but that's our attitude. You know, hey, you keep that over there. I don't want none of that. You know what I mean? Instead of saying, hey, listen, if you don't want to talk to me, let's get you somebody you feel comfortable with talking to. Let's find out why you having these thoughts. Let's find out why you every other day you talking about killing yourself. Let's have a conversation. Let's sit down and let's talk about it. I think I'm not a therapist, but I mean, if a person is telling me they don't care about me or they're showing me they don't care about me, they don't care about my safety, they don't care about my well-being, they don't care if I'm dead or alive, I almost feel irrelevant. I almost feel like it's pointless for me to be here, right? If I don't mean nothing to anybody, why am I here? Ain't nobody gonna miss me when I'm gone. So a lot of people sometimes have those thoughts like, when I'm gone, they ain't gonna miss me anyway. So what's the difference? I might as well go. You know what I mean? And so we got to get to a point. You know, what's disheartening is more of our younger people, teenage, 15 to 19, 20, those are the ones we really got to keep an eye on because they're coming out of that adolescent, that teenage adolescent stage where somebody's probably was bullying them, or they probably was getting joked on in school, or they probably was, stuff like this stuff was happening to them in that time frame. And then as they got older, they never talked to anybody. They never told anybody. Nobody ever knew what was going on with them. So by the time they got to be an adult, all that stuff was built up, all that stuff that festered in, they still don't know how to process it. If you didn't know how to process it then and you never got help or you never talked to anybody, you're not going to know how to process it now, right? And so a lot of times we don't look at the bigger picture and saying, hey man, you might need to check on Roy. Make sure Roy's okay. You know what I mean? Like we may have to go by and see him and look in on him or something. Or call somebody. Listen, the worst thing that can happen is, first of all, any person, man, female, child, adult, doesn't matter. Any person who is dealing with mental health issues needs to get help. That's the first thing. But if you're dealing with those issues and you have children, you desperately, desperately need to get yourself taken care of because you don't want that one to rub off on your children. Two, you don't want them around that behavior. You don't even want them to see that. You don't even want them to see it. Most of our Bible cousins I've never met in person because y'all are older than I am and my location. Let's be clear. Let's see. See the whole comment. I don't play about y'all. Definitely. And listen, I'll be honest with you. You in Michigan, I think right? I think you're in Michigan. I have family who live here in Houston. I don't talk to every day. I don't see every day. Yeah, I have family right here in Houston that I probably haven't seen in years. So the distance, I mean, to some degree, the distance is great. But with the help of social media, FaceTime, you know, messenger calls, um, it's just almost like you see them in person because you are able you are able to communicate while seeing one another, if that makes sense. And so, hang on one second. See if I can do something real quick. Did it send you a request to join? I don't know if it's my phone or but did it send you a request to join? I'm not sure if it's working on this end, but yeah, don't let the distance be a hindrance because you can be right around the corner, you can be 5,000 miles away. If you need somebody to talk to, just pick up a phone. Pick up a phone. You said no? See if it'll allow you to send me a request to join. See if it'll let you send me one. I pushed it. Um, I don't know why it's not doing it, but see if it'll let you send me one. Check it and see if it'll let you do it. If it'll let you send it. Let's see something. I'm going to go in and change and make it public. Change. It doesn't? Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't give that option. It doesn't even give me the option to do it here. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. That's really weird. But what you can do, you can call me through Messenger. See if it'll let you call me through Messenger, and then um, I'll put you on like that. If it lets you do that, see if it'll let you call me through Messenger. There you go. There you go. How about that? How about that? Let's see if I can turn this around real quick. Let's see if I can switch this around real quick. How about that? There you go. You're on the big screen.
Hey, cousin.
You're on the big screen. What's going on?
Nothing much.
So, question. Tell me. Hold on. Let me get this right. There we go. So, question. Tell me why you Hang on. Let me get this right. Let me get this set up right first. Because I got a question I gotta ask you.
Hmm.
There you go. So, what happens to where I know what happens for me, but what happens to where you get to instances where um, you can't be genuine in how you feeling, like you laughing, but you really don't want to laugh. So what's causing that? What do you think is causing that?
A lot of different things. It's the whole judgment thing. And in a lot of instances, I really don't care what people think.
Right,
But there are those instances where, um, because of who my grandfather was before he passed, being a pastor for 52 years. And because I grew up right under him, I'm supposed to be this strong person, this person that doesn't have, a point where she has to say, enough is enough. I
right,
cannot take on anybody else's problems
right, right,
because I have my own that I'm dealing with. But because of that stigma of there's two stigmas for PKs and PGKs,
right,
preacher
right,
kids and preacher grandkids.
right,
We're the worst ones, but at the same time, we're the ones that everybody comes to when
right,
they're in need.
right,
And so it's just a lot to handle when, you know, hey, I know you be in church. I know you got a prayer life. Da 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 da. And at the same time, it's like, but did you even ask me how I was feeling?
right,
You know what I'm saying? I can't continue to pour from an empty cup,
right.
and nobody's pouring back into me. So, yeah, so those
So
are
let me ask you this.
instances where I'll be like, you know what, I just can't. I gotta shut down.
Right. Let me ask you this. Are these this is friends or family members? Or both?
Both,
Wow. Wow.
both.
Wow. Well, I can tell you, um, being a person who generally, from experience, being a person who generally is level headed, who's generally calm, who is generally the person, where people call and say, "Hey, what you think?" and you give insight. You're gonna have moments where you're gonna have to pick up a phone and call because they're not gonna call you.
Yep. Yep.
So you can't wait around and expect for people to say, "Hey, Chrissy, you good?" because they're expecting you to be good, right? So
And
when you
that's the
have
problem.
yeah, so when you have those moments when you're not good, it's okay to say, "Hey, man, I need to talk," right? And so, because
Yep.
if you don't, like you said, you're not going to be able to give anybody anything because you don't have anything to give.
Nope. And then that's when everything else starts to just build up, and you feel like, what's the point in me being here? Because nobody's thinking about me, but I'm thinking about everybody else. And
Right, right, right,
how do I do this? And I can't even do for myself.
right.
And it's so much,
Well,
so
as a
much.
preacher's kid or GPK, the expectations are different. The expectations are different because they don't look at the fact. First of all, you're still human. You're not perfect, but
Yep.
the fact of the matter is, they feel like since you've been surrounded by this guy so long, you should be able to handle certain things differently, right? And so at the end of the day, everybody has a throw in the towel moment. Everybody has a moment they're like, you know what, the fight is over. I can't. I don't want to fight no more. I don't want to do it no more.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But then I think sometimes when you get to that moment, right? And I know this to be true for you because you my cousin, we family, so I know this to be true. When you get to that moment, you start thinking about, damn, my son, right? So even though I may not be strong enough now, I don't have it now. I still got to think about, I got a son that's watching me. I got a son that's depending on me, right? So you can't you don't get to have a throw in the towel moment. You don't get to have that.
Absolutely do not.
Yeah, you don't get to have that. So let me ask you this, because I saw you say take meds. So they have meds.
They have so they have medication for people who are bipolar. They have medication for people who suffer from ADHD and ADD. They have medication for people who suffer from depression. Um, it's out there, and from my understanding, it's been out there for a while. But because we are so drilled with whatever happens in this house stays in this house, and don't be talking to nobody about this, that, and the third. And in the meantime, you're not thinking about the repercussion of that because you're holding so much trauma
Wow.
to where what's next? I'm
Wow.
gonna traumatize myself, or
Wow.
I'm gonna traumatize somebody,
Right.
and this has all happened because I was taught not to talk about it.
Wow. So now watch this. I hear the term, because I just heard you say this. I hear people use the term bipolar a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Most times when I hear a person use the phrase bipolar, that's not a serious thing to them. You know what I mean? It's jokingly. Like, man, you bipolar. You always acting like you bipolar. Them kids bipolar. It's never a point to where they're like, yo, this is a serious thing. So it
It is
bipolar
very serious.
bipolar is explain to me what that is exactly.
So there's different levels of it. You have some that can be extremely happy, and then in a blink of an eye, they ready to tear your head off,
Wow.
and you don't know what happened because nothing happened physically in your face, but something triggered them in their mind. Like I used to work with kids that most of them were bipolar because of the trauma that they
Something they
had gone
saw. Something happened to them or
through.
something they saw, experienced.
Hmm.
Wow.
And it can be the slightest thing. It can be a smell. It can be a song.
Wow.
It can be anything. It can be
Wow.
the tone of voice, and they will stand off.
Wow. See, the reason why I asked that, so my youngest daughter is Alex is 19. So that I think she may have been like 5 or 6, and her mom never showed signs of any issues or anything. One day she just up and called and said, "Hey, I'm gonna kill myself," right? And immediately I didn't take it for a joke. I called 911 and I said, "Hey, my daughter's mom says she's gonna kill herself. My child is over there. I need to get her." And I met the police at the residence, and they took
That's
her,
what you should have done.
and they took her and kept her for a week or so, and then obviously let her go. But I would rather do that and be careful versus do nothing
Being sorry.
and assume it's just a joke, right? Because we've seen many times that people don't take it serious, and then the aftermath is horrendous, right?
I mean, just like you were talking about the school shootings. Look at how much they have laid out before they do it, and nobody takes those signs seriously.
Right, right. They even
And
see it
then
on the
all of a
computers.
sudden, we don't know what happened. We don't know what triggered them until they start investigating it, and it shows you. Well, this child said they was gonna do this, that, and the third months ago,
Wow,
weeks ago,
wow,
and then all of a sudden they just woke up and said to
I can't take it no more. And they just
It's over.
snap.
Yep.
Wow. Wow.
Yep.
Wow. That's
Like, we
see.
have to be real careful with how we, like I told my son, because he works in a field where he deals with people that are, um, they're delayed, but they're delayed because of the trauma that they experienced.
Right.
And so I told him, I said, you need to listen. If you don't do nothing else in this job, be a listener. Because they could say something one day and you not think nothing of it. And then the next time they say it, they start to act on it.
Right.
And you gotta be ready to react.
Right. And I believe that experiences and certain traumas can trigger a person's mental health issues. I believe that. I really believe that, man. Like, you know what? To this day, and I'm saying it, I'm saying it publicly live. I mean, I don't have a complex. I still have nightmares. To this day. To this day, man. I promise, man. Look, my prison experience. I swear to you, to this day, I have moments where I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm swinging and yeah, like I'm screaming loud and and I'm like yo man, wake up, you good? I'm like, hey, I'm cool, right? And so I really believe you can have certain traumas that can trigger certain behavior. I believe that. I really believe that.
I'm not gonna lie to you, cousin. Since the whole COVID thing started, right? I have never been claustrophobic a day in my life. Never.
Right.
COVID started, and when I say that first year directly connected to me, had to bury 20 people.
What?
Directly connected to me.
Wow.
And seeing the lid closed on them 20 people, one behind the other, behind the other, behind the other.
Wow.
And I went for an MRI and flipped out.
Wow.
Because that lid was too close to my face. I was like, get me out of here.
Wow. Wow.
I'm gonna need to be asleep.
Right. Let me ask you this. So, what do you do for an outlet? I mean, who do you talk to, or what do you do? What kind of activities do you have to release? Because guess what? You gotta have something to release. You gotta release. You gotta release. At some point, you gotta release.
My page.
Yeah. So
I do a lot of cooking.
Yeah, you gotta release. And what you don't want is you don't want to release all of that the wrong way.
Yep. So I do a lot of cooking. I do a lot of singing. I am in the midst of actually writing my book.
Wow.
Which is titled How 2020 Almost Killed Me.
Wow.
And it's pretty much gonna be talking about back to back to back. It's to a point now where I honestly don't want nobody calling me telling me that somebody else is dead, because I'm still numb. I have not completely grieved or healed from 2020.
Wow.
And then you add 21, and then 22, and then
Right. Wow.
I haven't completely grieved or healed from losing my grandfather in 2016. That was 7 years ago.
Wow.
I deal with it.
Yeah, I know. I can imagine. I can imagine how tough that was. I can imagine how tough that was. Anytime you lose a loved one is tough, but when you lose a polarizing figure, somebody who's made such an amazing impact, that's tough. That's extremely tough. Yeah, that's tough.
Yep.
So
mental illness is, I'll say in the last 15, 20 years, it's more so talked about. But before, it was so behind the wall that nobody knew what it was. Everybody thought it was people being crazy.
Yeah, nobody took it serious. Nobody took it serious. Yeah.
They're releasing trauma, they're not releasing it the proper way, but
Right.
they're releasing trauma that has happened in their lives.
Right. And most times, again, if you're not getting help, it's always gonna come out the wrong way. It's always gonna come out the wrong way, man. I mean, every time it's gonna come out the wrong way. It's no,
And get the right help.
there's no
You
other
know,
way.
look into the people that you're trying to get help from. Make sure that they okay. You know, make sure they're accredited.
Wow, that makes
Make
sense.
sure they got, you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
you can't go talk to somebody and they're not sitting all the way correct on their chair.
Right. That makes sense.
Like you have to do your research. And I hate to say it, but us as a people don't do our research.
Let me ask you this,
That is one of the biggest problems we have.
because I gotta know, how does, if any, how does this affect him, your son?
Hmm.
Are you hiding it? Are you able to hide that to some degree from him?
And it's crazy because we do not live in the same house.
Wow.
But Jaden can call my phone, and depending on the tone of my voice,
He knows something wrong.
within 15 minutes, he's showing up at the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like with him, I'm the same with him. If I don't hear from him for a couple of days, I think I made a post, or was that on TikTok? Jaden is not a phone talker. He'll text you, but as far as talking on the phone, that's a no. And to be on the phone for 40 minutes with him, I said, okay, I'll give him until Monday. And then Monday, not mama, but the mother is going to show up.
Yeah. Let's see what's going on.
And he told me what it was. I think it was Tuesday morning, because Monday he still didn't want to talk. But Tuesday morning he told me what it was, and I was like, okay, so what you want to do?
Yeah. See, that's why you
Because
can't.
you know, I'm your mama. I'm 10 toes down.
But that's why you can't have that. See, that's why you can't have them throw in the towel moments, right? Because guess what? If you throw in the towel, who we gonna go to?
Nobody. He got nobody.
You know what I'm saying?
He got my grandmother. He has, his granny, but
right now I gotta say this. I gotta say this because I know people that are watching are thinking it, and so and especially with you being, a GPK, a PK, and us growing up in the church and all this type of stuff, and the background. So I gotta ask, and I gotta say this because I know people are saying, trust your faith, pray about it. Right? I ain't gonna get no help. I'm just gonna pray about it. I'm gonna trust that God is gonna make a way. How would you? What would you say to that?
There are situations where you can talk to God,
Mm-hmm.
and He hears you.
Right.
He does.
Right.
But there are things. He laid out a plan for us. He laid out a pattern for us. He gave us instruction.
Right.
And yeah, it's gonna refer back to that instruction. But within that instruction, it doesn't. I can't think of the exact scripture, but it says, when you are sick in your bodies, go to the elders.
Right.
It don't necessarily have to be somebody older than you, but it can be somebody in a profession,
right,
that has wise counsel that can help you through the situation.
Right.
And then your answer can come through there.
Well,
and then he'll turn around and reveal it to you that that's what you needed to do, and then you can go on from there.
It's simple for me. Because guess what? If God didn't want me to get no counseling, He wouldn't have counselors.
Period. Just
So
simple as that.
so I mean, the reality is, and so the bigger picture is, sure, I'm 1,000% God is in control of all things. I have no doubt that that's the case. However, I truly believe that when there is help, you get it. It's just like when you're sick. You got people that don't like going to the doctor. But guess what? He wouldn't have provided doctors if we didn't need them.
Listen, I don't like going to the doctor. If I know I can't take care of it myself, you best believe I'm getting it going.
Right, right. Well, that's the thing. See, we have to understand that everything is a process. Everything is a process. And so my whole thing about, when I had this conversation with my daughter, she was the only thing she wanted me to do was to make sure that we were aware of the realities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so for me, the bigger picture is, it exists, bro. Like, this is real. And this ain't watch this. This is not a white problem. This a people
It's a
problem.
human problem.
Yeah, this
It's
is
a
a people
human
problem.
problem.
This is not a white problem, because a lot of times we
Yeah.
see we see white people shoot up schools or bomb churches or do something like that, and we say they had to be white. Man, guess what? Maybe in that instance, but black people kill their families. Man, you know how many black people
Yeah.
I seen on the news in Houston, Texas? Men killing themselves and their entire family.
Hmm.
Single mothers taking their lives and taking the kids with them, drowning their kids. Like, this is a real thing, man. It's a real
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
But
And
I
nobody understands it.
but I say this to you, um, wholeheartedly, and not just because we family and you my cousin, I love you, but I say this to you because I want you to fully understand what I'm about to tell you, right? Even though, even though your background is sufficient, right?
Hmm.
You have to have somebody to talk to.
You right. You right. You right.
Hey, Superman had kryptonite.
Yeah.
Everybody is gonna have to lean on somebody at some point. And at any point, you can't find somebody, right? If you
Right.
need to talk right then and there, and you can't find somebody, you can find me. I'm unemployed. You can find me 24 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't have to be a conversation solely about your problems. You may just want to
Right.
talk. You may just want to talk. Sometimes listening is the best medicine. You know what I'm saying? You may just want to get it out, and then after we get off the phone, you probably gonna send a text and say, you know what? Because it's happened to me. It's happened to me. I've been going through something, and then one of our cousins, called me on the phone. Don't even know I'm going through nothing. Call me on the phone, tell me a joke, or say something funny, and talk to me 10 or 15 minutes. We get off the phone, and I get on Facebook and say, "Man, you showed up at the right time. I needed that."
Hmm.
And they don't even know what I'm talking about. They have no idea what I'm talking about because we're programmed to keeping everything inside. We're programmed to dealing with our problems ourselves. We're programmed to, I'll get through it. I'm gonna get through it. I'm gonna pray on it, but I'm gonna get through it. Instead of saying, hey, listen, I need somebody to talk to.
I have two friends that we've been friends since middle school, and like at least once a month we go out and we kick it. And our group thread, my goodness,
Fire, fire,
my goodness,
fire is lit.
If
It don't look like a group thread for a PK.
at all, at all, at all, because and most of the time I hear line to be, all right, it's about to get real wreck raw,
Right, right.
and then I'll go in and they be like, oh wow,
That's dope. Listen,
And I'll be like, now I feel better.
listen. What what advice? What advice? If you had to, because we don't know who's going through what, but if you had to give some advice to a person, male or female, if you had to give some advice to a person who was ready to give up on life, what would you say to them right now?
Don't. Simple as that. Don't. Because your your expectation of yourself is greater than anybody else's.
Wow.
So you're gonna be the hardest on yourself.
Right.
You're gonna be the most vindictive towards yourself.
Right.
But like I'm in pain 18 hours out of the day because of the rheumatoid arthritis. But I can walk into work, and although I'm in pain, I done smiled, and it changed somebody else's outlook on the day.
Right. Right.
But if I have to give any advice, don't give up on yourself.
So at what point? At what point is it okay to say, um, I need help?
Um, I would say if you're having too many days where you can't see the brighter side of it, or you can't find anything positive out of the day too many times a week, maybe it's time to sit down and talk to somebody.
Right. I'm thinking. I was thinking the same thing. If everything is negative, if you wake up and it's negative, and you lay down and it's negative, and you just angry all the time, and you just yeah, it's probably time to talk to somebody.
Like this
Yeah.
morning, so it snowed here this morning, and people here on snow, I don't understand. You've lived in Michigan all your life. You know it's gonna snow. You know it's gonna be icy. Why are you flying? And I was road rage was on a million. And before I walked through the office door, I was like, you know what, Lord, thank you for protecting me. Thank you for keeping me. Thank you for giving me the transportation I needed to get to where I needed to go. Thank you, God, for the job that I have. Lord, thank you for even me being able to feel the coldness. Thank you that I can see the snow. You know what I'm saying? I had to talk to yourself.
Yeah. It's better to be seen than viewed.
Period.
It's definitely better to be seen than viewed. And I'm gonna tell you, I was throwing away some stuff right before I got ready to do the show, and it's funny because you said you had 20 people pass away. I threw away about 14 funeral programs. Yeah, threw them away. Just was throwing them away. Cleaning
I
out
don't
some
even
stuff.
get them no more.
Hey,
I don't
listen,
want them.
listen, man. The one thing that's so weird is we're fine until we lose somebody. We're all good. We're all good until we lose somebody. And then when we lose somebody, we really find out, dang,
We not good.
I wasn't ready to lose that person. You know what I mean? Like
I,
when you walk past that casket, you start realizing I wasn't ready for this person to leave. Like I didn't say this or I didn't do, but at that point, it's too late.
now, I will say this. Everything that I needed to say to my grandfather, everything, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, everything that needed to be said was said. That last week of him being alive was my most quiet because he was giving me instruction without giving me instruction, if that
Right,
makes sense.
right. Make a whole lot of sense to me.
And
Been there, done
he
that.
was saying, yeah, he was saying,
Mm-hmm.
you've had 39 years with me. You know what this life is. You know how to deal with these things.
Yeah. And you knew this was coming.
I don't need to be here.
Yeah.
Right.
And you knew
I
this was
don't
coming.
need to
Yeah.
be here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've prepared you for 39 years. Yes, it's gonna hurt. Yes, it's gonna be hard. Yes, it's gonna be, but you've been prepared. I'm gonna need you to go back. And I'll have moments where I'll get on Facebook and I'll be like, you know what? Or I'll post one of our conversations. And, you know, there's one in particular, he was he was sitting in the nursing home and they was telling him, you know, your sodium is too high, you don't need any salt or anything, you know, you're on a bland diet. So I'm sitting there and he was like, red dye, hand me that salt pack. And I'm like, hand you what? You're not getting that.
Knowing you on the sodium diet.
Knowing you on the sodium diet.
Right.
And I turned back around and started watching TV. Next thing I hear him snacking. What did you eat? Tomato and salt. How did you get the salt pack? I had one in my pocket. You know what? You 91 years old. Eat what you gonna eat. I can't say nothing.
Yeah.
He was like, you sure is a blessing.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? You know what's crazy is we are at the age we are, and we try to figure out how we gonna get by when we lose loved ones, or you know what I mean. And I told somebody this the other day. Young folks out here dying every day and leaving kids behind, right? And the one thing that never pops up is, damn, what's gonna happen to the kids? Because the reality is, remember I just said it's better to be seen than viewed. So even though it's as bad as it sounds, the kids gonna be fine. Somebody gonna take care of the kids. They gonna either get adopted, the family member gonna get them. They gonna live. You're not gonna be here to see it though.
Think about the other end of that though.
Growing up.
Mental illness.
Yeah.
I don't have my mama.
Yeah.
I did this because I didn't have my daddy.
Yeah.
I did this because nobody taught me how to do this, that, and the third.
And that's happening.
Someone may have.
And that's happening. That's happening. That's happening in real life. You ain't my daddy. That's happening in real life. You ain't my mama. You know what I mean? Those things are happening in real life. And we don't really look at the fact that they lashing out because they don't know how to not do it.
Trauma.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to acknowledge it. Well, you don't have a choice but to acknowledge it now because it's too much in your face not to.
Yeah, you can't dodge it.
Nope.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mental illness is something that needs to be talked about.
It's
more
way
than what it is.
Yeah, it's way more prevalent than we want to believe too. Way more prevalent than we want to believe. I just think when I say we, I mean as a people, we have gotten so comfortable with just letting it be. You know what I mean? Instead of saying, hey man, look, you know, having conversations with the family members saying, something ain't right, man. We might need to, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
We good for that ain't my business.
Yeah.
Not my monkey, not my circus. You know.
Yeah.
Now, no, because I don't want the repercussion of that.
Yeah.
What that child needs? Who that child needs to talk to?
Right.
Do I need to take a day or two off?
Right. And I don't think I think the medical side of it is too. Nobody wants to take medicine, right? So even though they tell you the medicine is gonna help you, you like, I ain't taking that. I don't need that. You know what I'm saying? Instead of knowing, yeah.
I'm guilty.
Yeah.
It's not that medicine, but it's medicine that helps this rheumatoid arthritis. But because I don't like the way it makes me feel
or
I
taste.
don't want to take it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a real thing. That's a real thing, especially when they tell you, hey, the medicine is gonna keep you from thinking and hallucinating, and it's gonna keep you from thinking about killing yourself and all that. And you say, okay, you take it one time, and you don't take it no more. The bottle's still 95% full.
I'm gonna throw one at you. This music isn't helping either.
Oh man, you know what? Listen. That's a whole nother show.
I know.
We're gonna have to come. We're gonna have to come back and do that on a whole nother show because we can really get into it about this music. But that's a whole nother show in itself. This music. But now let me tell you. Let me just say this. Because we got it. When I say we, I mean parents. We have to take some accountability for our part in it too, because we have allowed our children, grandchildren, to listen to any and everything they want.
Well, no, not in my home.
You're a rare breed. You're a rare breed. You a rare breed.
Walking past the bathroom, and Jaden was in the shower listening to Lil Uzi Vert. I said, "Hey, what's that? Rewind that." And he sent it back, and I listened to what he said, and I said, "No, sir.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it again."
Yeah. But see, two things to that. The first part of that is you're supposed to stop that right then and there. But the second part of that is I know you're gonna listen to it. I just don't want you listening to it around me where I can hear it. Because here's the thing. The reality is, listen to me now. Follow what I'm saying now.
I already know.
The reality is we're not going to be able to prevent it. There's too much of an influence with social media, friends, school, work, the part, whatever. They're going to hear it. So we're not going to be able to control that part of it. But I can control the part where you don't listen to that in my presence, right? Respect me enough to not to play that while I'm here. You know what I'm saying? And so with us, we listen. I'm a DJ. You know how many you know how many baby showers, how many birthday parties I've done. Matter of fact, if I'm being completely honest, the last birthday party I did for a 5 and under kid, I didn't play not one birthday song. Nothing. No Simon Says, no Humpty Dumpty, no Wheels on the Bus Go Round and Round. None of this. Shark Baby, Shark. None of this. Nothing. These kids don't listen to that. No. These kids are not listening to that. Man, do you know these kids know the words to any rap song that's out now because it's okay. It's the norm. I'm listening to it in the car with my mom and my daddy. I'm listening to it at school. I'm listening to it on my iPhone. I'm listening to it on YouTube. It's the normal thing. These kids is listening to it all right now, man. From 5 to 20, oh, they getting it in. They listening to everything right now.
I guess yeah. A part of the Bowers and Stark's DNA that's where crazy show up.
Yeah, they got some.
If I see somebody that young listening to something like that, I'm smacking it out your hand. And I'm gonna tell your mama I did it.
Let me tell you something. You listen. The name of the show is Despre Speaks. I'm telling you, out of my own mouth, that is the reality.
Ain't no way. Not nothing my birth. Ain't no way.
Well, first of all, not none of my viewers is letting that happen anyway. So maybe somebody they know, but not none of my viewers is watching right now ain't going for that. They not none of them. They kids ain't listening to that. None of my viewers kids listening to that. No, of course not. Of course not. Not them.
What? Yeah.
I'm telling you, man.
Even Sean Kingston, and this song came out some years ago, where he's talking about I'm suicidal. Suicidal. I was like, and you're off my radio. Simple as that. Because if
Yeah.
you suicidal, whatever you got playing in the background, I don't want them going into my pores. And then I become suicidal. Absolutely not. Good day. So,
Watch this. I'm gonna go a little further. Watch this. Watch this. And then I ain't gonna keep you because you know I know, but I'm gonna put this on your mind. So churches now,
nope.
the music.
Don't even.
Let's hold on. Hear me. Hear me. Hear me. The music is different. Gospel music is different. Yes or no?
Very much so.
Okay, hold on. Now, so the reasoning, in my opinion, could be wrong, but the reasoning for that is gospel music is trying to attract the younger generation.
They are.
Correct? So,
Yeah.
so if I'm trying to attract the younger generation, the only way I see to do it is through the music. Because they ain't listening to, let's be honest, they ain't listening to the preacher. They ain't listening to the preacher. Ain't no 12 or 13-year-old kid at church on Sunday listening to the word. They ain't listening to that. They ain't listening. These kids, these teenage kids right now, I'm telling you, these teenage from 5 to about 15 or 16, these kids in church on the phone, unless they involved in the function or something at the church. Maybe. Yeah. If they singing in the choir, they ushering, maybe. But if they not in the function, them kids are on the phone. They're not listening or sleep. They're not listening to the preacher. They're not listening to him. They're not listening to him. And their parents are not making them listen to him. The parents is giving them the cell phone. Here, baby. Yeah, here. Yeah. Yeah, them kids is on the phone. They're on the phone. They're listening. And here's the thing. I don't have a problem, because I want to be clear. I don't have a problem with the music, gospel music transitioning. I don't have a problem because I understand everything evolves. I get it. So I don't have a problem with gospel music transitioning. What I have a problem with is once you've gotten my attention, now what?
How you gonna keep it? Mm-hmm.
Now what? If the music is what got me here, now what? What are you gonna do that's gonna make me stay? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. If you're gonna change it up, that's cool. But what are you gonna do to make me stay? See, this is the one thing. I had a show last week while I was talking about my grandma. Didn't play me. I had to wear a tie. I had to wear church clothes. I couldn't wear jeans and tennis shoes to church. She didn't play that. But yeah, but here's the deal. Here's the deal, right? Here's the deal. We have gotten so far away from the core principles. When I say core principles, I mean you wear certain stuff, you behave a certain way, you go to Sunday school, you go to what do you call it, Bible study. I'm talking about if church is the reality of the household, is the structure, and you resonate in that, you ain't got no choice. Our kids got choices. Man, our kids got choices. I don't want to go today. I don't feel like it. I don't want to sing today.
So you not going what you doing? You finna find you someplace to live?
Chris, they doing that in Michigan. That's in Michigan. They doing that in Michigan. We not in Michigan. I'm telling you right now. These kids have a listen, don't take my word for it. See the reason why I specifically said the show has to be interactive is because these people just hear me talking and like I just make this stuff up. These is facts. I ain't making this up. This facts. I'm not making this up. Man, these kids have more control. When I say kids, that age that I gave you, man, these kids got more control than anything I've ever seen in my life.
And I see it. I do see it. I see it on a regular basis. But just like, before Jaden moved, cook is what's for dinner. You don't like it? Sorry.
That's Michigan.
Go in my kitchen and cook another meal.
That's
And
Mi-
then not.
That's Michigan. That's Michigan.
Even to this day, with him not living in my house, if I see Jaden in public and he don't have a belt on, checked right there. What is your problem?
That's Michigan. That's Michigan.
That ought to be everywhere.
We can say that. We can say that, but understand. Listen. I said the other day on the show, right? How in the world, when I was talking about bad kids in school, how is it that you can have F's on your report card, your conduct is horrible, but you want me to buy you a PS5? Make that make sense.
Yeah.
How that work? You gonna tell me you don't want to go to church, but you got F's all up and down the paper.
Nope.
I'm trying to understand how that even go together.
That's because you listening to Lil Uzi Vert. Nope. Nope.
Hey man, I'm telling you, we gonna listen.
It's
Let me. Matter of fact, before you look here, let me get my sticky note, because we gonna have to get back into this. We gonna really have to go all the way in on this one, man. I'm talking about it, man. I'm talking about, because guess what? We can't leave out the hypocrites. Oh man, look at him. Let me write this stuff down, man. Let me write this down. Hey man, listen, I'm telling you, but I just, I do believe children are the future. I believe that we're not going to be here forever. And so they have to be trained and taught how to proceed when we're not here. But if we're not giving them that, we in trouble, man.
There you go.
Do you
right
know?
There.
Listen,
it's
I
too
can
many of us trying to be their friends.
watch this.
Instead of being their parents.
Hey man, watch this. And we're going to end the show with this. I'm going to end the show with a question. I want everybody to answer this question. You don't have to answer it right here for me. But I'm going to ask you a question. And I want you going to answer live, because me and you, we chopping it up. But I want everybody to hear this question. So, if you died tomorrow, or let's get a little deep. Or if you got sickly and you could no longer work, you could no longer care for yourself, you could no longer do anything, would your children take care of you? Oh man, I got to hear this. See, I know your answer is yes, because you in Michigan. So you gonna be a yes. Matter of fact, you not a yes. You not a yes. You a hell yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. You in Michigan.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
I believe that Jaden would definitely take care of me. And here's why I say that. The proof is already in the pudding. Because where I can't take care of my mom, because your cousin is epileptic, he steps in. So he's already showing that when that time comes for me, he's capable and able to do such a thing.
Wow. Now you know the numbers are not that high. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The numbers are not, and I'm saying that I asked that question. I asked that question because I want us to really, 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 really think about how we've brought our children up. I want us to really look at, like really, really get off into how we've brought up and raised our children. Do you know how many children right now? I know some. I've seen it happen in real life. Soon as their parents die, they don't give a shit. Could care less. Their parents get sick, they don't want nothing to do with them. I'm telling you. I'm
They leave
telling
them
you.
alone. I know.
I'm telling you
I know.
because you have not taught them anything. You have not
Well,
been there. You have not been there for them ever, right?
so they lack the basic skills, which is compassion, love, understanding, forgiveness. They lack all of that because their parents lacked it.
They were never taught it from the beginning. Let me tell you something. My grandson used to poop, right? And when my grandson would get off the toilet, he would say, "All right, Papa, I'm ready. Come wipe my butt." Yeah. And I would say, "Yeah, that's 1, 2, 3 years old." And I would say, "Hey, man, I'm going to do it. But you're going to learn how to do this on your own because I ain't finna keep on wiping your butt." Now, guess who wipes his butt? He do. You have to teach. If you're not teaching those basic things, you in for a rude awakening if you get down. You're in for a rude awakening. I'm telling you, you're in for a rude awakening if you get down. Because first of all, if you haven't taught your children the basic skills, the basic necessities, the basic principles and foundations, one, they ain't gonna have a job. Because they don't want to go to school, they don't want an education, so they ain't gonna have a job. So if you don't have a job and you don't have any education, where are you getting the money from? How can they take care of you?
They can't. Because they stealing from you.
Hello.
Just saying.
Hey man, it's listen.
It's rough out there in these streets.
This is the reality that we live in. This is the world we live in. This is our reality. This is our reality, you know? And so, look, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you for coming home. Your insight, without question, was definitely what the show needed tonight. Um, I hope, I'm hopeful that somebody watching can say, you know what, I'm gonna get some help, man. I'm gonna talk to somebody. I'm not gonna keep all this stuff bottled up and inside. I'm gonna talk to somebody.
You got to. Or you gonna be a volcano.
Listen,
And when you erupt, it's gonna be trauma.
experiences are relatable when more than one person experiences them. So when you can tell somebody, hey, I went through that. This is what worked for me. This is how I got through. Right? Even though it may not work for them, they can try it. Like what they used to always say. God ain't got to do it for me. He ain't got to do it, but I know He can. He ain't got to do it. He ain't got to, but I know if He wants to do it, He's capable. He's capable. And so we just all I want people to know is it's possible, man. It's possible. You know what I mean? You don't have to give up. Don't quit. Don't throw in the towel. Keep fighting, man. As long as you're able to wake up and say good morning, you have an opportunity to get better. You got a shot. And that's all you want is a shot. It's all you want. It's all you want is a shot. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I love you like a fat kid love cake.
Love you back.
And you remember what I said. You know what I mean? You always gotta have somebody you can release to. And if your friends get busy, you know where to find me. You know where to find me, man. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I appreciate you, man. Take care of yourself, man, and take care of that boy. And don't forget what I told you about that other situation too.
Listen, my hands up off of that. I'm
Yeah,
telling you.
yeah.
Listen, I had to. Like, because I had to. Because
Yeah.
if I didn't,
Yeah.
you know that other side.
Yeah, and you know, we're gonna get off into that as well. I got a part 3 coming, and we gonna have some people on that can really tell you exactly why you shouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know, trust me, I've been there, done that. I know exactly where your mind is. I've been there, done that. But we're gonna have some folks that's gonna really be able to break through where you're gonna say, you know what, that makes sense. Right? So, man, I love you, man. Take care of yourself, man.
I will. You do the same.
All right, cuz.
All right.
So, before I close the show, man, it's imperative that I leave on a positive high. It's critical that I acknowledge a few people. One, mental health is something that the black community needs to get in front of. It's something that we really got to start taking seriously. Um, too many, too many of us are putting ourselves in positions where we don't think we can win. And so, like I just said, do not quit. Do not give up, man. Life is always giving something worth living for. If you have children, if you have grandchildren, you have your mom still living, your dad still living, your grandparents, man, if you got your grandparents still living, you are extremely blessed if you this age. So um, be mindful of that, man. When you dealing with people, whether it be at work or out and about at a restaurant, at a game, at a function, a party, a baby shower, wherever you may encounter people of the negative sort, be mindful. You never know what people are dealing with. You never know. You never know where a person's mind is. So always be mindful of that when you're having these conversations and you're approaching people. Um, and so, with that being said, I'm thankful to everybody who has subscribed to the channel. The video will be uploaded as soon as I get off. I have a phenomenal cast and crew coming up, lined up for you guys, and you're not gonna want to miss it. I promise you, you're not gonna want to miss it. I got some explosive shows coming. I got some fun coming. Um, but for the most part, just know I got some real relatable content coming. And as long as you guys keep watching, I'm gonna keep showing it to you. I'm gonna keep giving it to you as long as you keep watching. So I appreciate it. I love you guys, man. And until next time on the Spree Speaks, peace.